Good morning, listeners on KCPR 91.3 FM San Luis Obispo. You're listening to Time with Eric on KCPR 91.3 FM. And if you're watching us from CPTV, this is Time with Eric. And this morning I have with me in the studio Vanessa Alexandre from the Alexandre Kids. And if you were a poly student, probably you might have heard of the story, a story of determination, a story of picking a little dream and planting it to grow. So this morning we're going to talk about how to start your own business. Vanessa is going to run us through the process of how they came to the decision to start a farm and what they're doing at the moment. So Vanessa, welcome to KCPR and KCPTV.
Thank you, Eric.
How are you doing today?
Good. I'm doing well.
Great. How was your journey coming to the studio? How was it like?
It was great. It's my first time here, and it's a neat experience to be on this TV show and to be on Time with Eric. I've heard so much great things.
Great. Thank you very much. So let me ask you my first question. You're from Crescent City, correct? Yes. Where is the city?
Crescent City is up in Northern California. We are about 5 miles from Oregon on the coast. Okay. So we're right a mile from the ocean. We see that sea mist coming up on our farm and way up north.
So you're not in Oregon, but you're in California?
Yeah,
correct?
We are in California. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me, what is so special about this city?
Crescent City is a nice area. It's a very small town. Okay. And we get a lot of rain, over 80 inches of rain a year.
Okay.
So it's a very green area for agriculture, for forestry. So it's an ideal place to start a farm. Okay. My parents moved to Crescent City shortly after college. Okay. And me and my siblings kind of grew up on a dairy farm there.
Okay, so you basically grew up on a dairy, correct?
Yeah.
So tell me, how many siblings do you have?
I have 4 siblings.
Okay.
2 older brothers, a younger brother, and a younger sister.
And a younger sister. Yeah. Where do you fall in there? Are you the third or the fourth?
I'm the middle, right in the middle.
In the middle. Yeah. Oh, okay. And I'm told your brothers went to Cal Poly as well.
Yeah, all 3 of my brothers have gone to Cal Poly. 2 have graduated through the ag business department, and 1 continued on and got his MBA in the College of Business, and then my little brother is also an ag engineer. Oh, okay. So the little sister is planning on coming here.
Sweet. I'll come back to the topic on your siblings and your family coming to Poly. But first, I would like you to give me a picture of how it was like growing up among all guys on a farm like that. How was it like? How was it feeling like?
Yeah, well, we grew up in a house right across from our dairy. Okay. So it was always wake up at 6 a.m. Mom had breakfast ready. Okay. And we were out on the farm immediately. But growing up with older siblings that are brothers, I just wanted to be able to compete and be one of them growing up. So it was always running around with the older brothers and their friends and being competitive and trying to be, absolutely. So they were my biggest enemies, yet have become my best friends. Okay, absolutely.
Because I am told that you tried always to put them in line, even at a time where you don't even know the solution to that problem.
To put my brothers in line, I try.
To check them in a way.
I keep them in check, absolutely, as a little sister.
And how do you do that to your big brothers? And like, hey, this is what I want you to do. What drives you to do that?
Siblings, we have this mutual want to succeed and want to see the other person succeed. So I guess I want to see my brothers do well, and they want to see me succeed. So just making sure they're on that path and know they have the support. I guess is what my role was.
and I'm told your parents are Cal Poly alumni. They all came to Cal Poly.
Yes, they did. My mom was in the College of Agriculture, and she was an agribusiness student, just like myself. And then my dad was also in the College of Ag as a dairy science student, which is actually my minor. Okay, and
when was this? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, my dad graduated in '85, and my mom graduated in '87.
Okay, wow. Yeah. So both of them probably were in school at the same time?
Yes, they were, yeah. They started dating my mom's sophomore year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, okay. So what is it about Poly? And again, I saw a quote on your Facebook page that says, "Poly proud." What is it about Cal Poly that it's so awesome to your family that it looked like it's become your family college? Everybody wants to come to Cal Poly.
Absolutely. It is a family school, so that's the first thing that makes us proud of coming here. And growing up, we wanted to go to the best ag school because we wanted to all pursue careers in agriculture, and Cal Poly was that place to be. And it wasn't that our parents pushed us here because they went here, but they wanted us to go to a great school, and we always knew Cal Poly was the one. So coming here, making us Cal Poly proud is not only because of the family aspect, but you walk in the hallways and you know everybody in your college, which is pretty neat. And you know the professors, and they have that open door policy where they want you to build a mutual relationship with themselves. So it's neat to have the small classroom setting, small college setting that we know people and everybody wants to see others kind of grow and pursue their passions.
Okay. So let's go back to your parents' dairy. Growing up, what specific role did you play on the farm? Were you, for instance, milking cows, feeding? What were you doing on the farm?
Yeah, as we grew up, our roles changed in a lot of ways, but kind of starting at a young age, I always liked the calves. I grew up on an organic dairy farm, and we had a lot of calves, and I like those younger, cute baby calves. So I would go and help feed calves, and then as we were able to drive a tractor at age 9, we went inside the tractor and was making left turns for hours. So our roles changed, and then now that I've gotten older and I know a lot of the business mindset of things, I've helped my mom in the office with accounting or marketing. So they've definitely changed, but I've always liked the hard, hands-on work. So being out in the fields with the cows or helping some of our employees who are people that watched us grow up for 20 years. So out with them, I really enjoy and appreciate.
And I spoke with your brother yesterday. He said something very interesting about you. He said you're a typical country girl that likes barbecue and meat.
Absolutely, yeah. Typical country girl, yeah. Barbecue and meat, yeah, absolutely. I think I like food, and everybody likes food, but the barbecue aspect, I guess, that he said, we have a lot of family barbecues, and we have a lot of family dinners, and our table seats 13, and we invite people over often. So I think that family aspect at our farm is very a part of that aspect of liking meat and barbecues and food.
and I'm told that you started showing cows at a very early age, and your very first attempt, you actually won the competition.
Yeah, I guess.
At the expense of your brothers that have been doing that for quite a long time.
Yeah, showing cows, we grew up in 4-H and pursued FFA after that, where we showed at the county fair. But I guess with showing cows, I was out there working with my baby calf and my heifers and my dairy cows for months before the show, in aspects of hoping to beat my brothers in the show. And when it came time at the county fair, I was able to beat them, and then kind of continued the next 2 years after. So it was a competitive show, and we all enjoyed it, and there may have been tears shed, but it was something we all loved.
I was in Wisconsin in, I think, 2010, and that was my first time of seeing huge dairy cows being showed, and little calves, and you see people from a dairy do that. Did you show just heifers or calves or the matured cows that were milking? Which specific ones were you showing?
As the cows got older, I would show them again. So I would start with a calf, and then the next year I'd start with another calf, and then by that time that last year's calf was now a heifer, and then so as the years gone on, I began to show calves, heifers, and milking cows. And then we would also show beef cows and pigs. So it was just kind of an array of animals. Absolutely.
We'll take a break here, and then we'll come back to continue with our discussion. Listeners, you're listening to Time with Eric on KCPR 91.3 FM, San Luis Obispo, and CPTV, the only TV station in Cal Poly. We'll run real quick for a commercial break, and then we'll be right back.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
ballerina.
Sometimes all it takes to be a dad is remembering how to be a kid again. Take time to be a dad today.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Listeners, you're welcome back to CPTV, and you're listening to us live on KCPR 91.3 FM, San Luis Obispo. This is Time with Eric, a program that is designed to inspire and to motivate you. And this morning, I have with me in the studio Vanessa Alexandre from the Alexander Kids Farm. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay. So now, tell me, how did the whole story, how did the whole idea come about in wanting to go into organic egg production? How did the whole thing start?
Yeah, we grew up on an organic dairy farm in the heartland of very green grass. Okay. So our cows were out on pasture 300 days a year. So wanting to go into this organic egg business kind of grew through aspirations of my older brothers. Christian was really kind of had a passion for chickens, and we would go to conferences throughout the Midwest and Eastern United States that were based on organic production, and we ended up visiting a farm in Virginia that was a pastured egg operation. And we kind of saw the way they were doing it, and we kind of thought to ourselves, we could do that too. And we are in a beautiful place for that production, and knew that kind of we had the drive to do this. So we went back, this would have been in 2006, and bought 500 chickens, kind of raised them in the bottom of our barn for the first time, just new at it, and built a mobile coop on wheels that would move twice a week to fresh pasture, and we just kind of started from there.
And you made mention of something that is very important. The very beginning of my show, I tried to let people understand that finding your passion in what you do is what leads you to that destination. And I'm happy you made mention of the fact that Christian was very passionate about chicken. But you having a different passion and your other brothers having different passion, how were you able to blend all this to believe in Christian's passion that, look, this is something we can really undertake and be successful at it?
Yeah, for example, my passions are with cows and farming and green grass type of deals. And Christian and Joseph, the oldest brother, theirs were more geared towards chickens and business mindsets and wanting to be entrepreneurs. And so if we're taking all these mindsets together, and my parents' passion of family and agriculture as a whole, we all kind of wanted to get to the end result of giving a nutritious, safe product to our consumers and believing in that and sharing our story. So if we all blended our passions together, this business would definitely be successful. So that was kind of how those all intertwined.
So all this thing, like you said, started at your parents' backyard, correct?
Correct.
Correct. And when you finally made the decision, or you decided, okay, this is what we're gonna do, did you guys had in mind that, okay, we probably will fail, or if we even succeed, we probably will not be able to handle the success that comes with it? Because most often what I've realized talking to people is that people don't pursue their dream because of two basic reasons. That, oh, I'm going to fail, so why do I try something that I'm going to fail? Or let's say I succeed, how do I handle the success? Did anything affect you guys' mindset at the moment? Like, maybe we'll not be able to do it, we'll be able to do it. Did you guys have any feeling like that?
Yeah, we grew up on a dairy farm, so the price fluctuates, and we've seen the business mindset of having a large organic farm. So my parents had a lot of knowledge when it comes to owning a business. And as far as us kids being involved in a business that has grown to be so successful, we always have these roots back to being a small family farm and just sharing our story and giving out a product. So the success has definitely humbled us in many ways with having a dairy and owning our own business that has since grown to millions of sales, but it's kind of a thing that we still stay smaller minded. And
I have a question to you on that later on in the program on what success means to you guys now and whether success has actually changed who you are or you're still who you are as a person. So we'll come to that. But before then, growing up, of course, your parents had their own business. Did you guys have the mindset that one day we're going to own a business, or at what point in your lives did you realize that probably the best thing to do is run your own business?
I think if you asked each one of us siblings that, we'd all answer in a different question. Absolutely. But if you're asking me, then I was always the one that, like, I grew up and I wanted to own that dairy that I grew up on. So I wanted to run that one in Crescent City. And we've grown to have a few farms up in Northern California, and we have a 5th generation dairy farm in Ferndale where my dad grew up. And that's the one that I also want to end up owning. So we grew up wanting to have this dairy or that dairy, but absolutely, our parents taught us to kind of work hard for what we want, and I always wanted to work hard and own that dairy someday.
Great.
Absolutely. Great,
because I spoke with your brother John yesterday, and he made mention of the fact that you're very driven, very passionate, and you won't stop until you succeed. Is that correct?
I would say so, yes. Yeah.
Okay. So when the decision was made that we're going to go into organic egg production, how did you guys secure funding? Because one of the things that, again, stops people from implementing a plan is that, I can get funding. How did you guys get funding to start the business?
Yeah, first off, our parents really had the backup and support of capital investment in the beginning. So our parents really dug into the dairy business and used funds from there. The business has since grown from in 2012 we began and made an LLC to where our parents are 50% partners, and then each kid, because there's 5 kids, are 10% partners. So, but over the years, to secure funding, we've built business expansion plans and sent them to investors. A lot of people who we just build relationships with through the FFA, the Future Farmers of America, or just working with retailers. We've just given them this business expansion plan of wanting to invest in our business. So building those relationships of people who want to invest and want to see us succeed and kind of believe in us is how we've really secured funding.
Okay, and I'll go back to the number of birds you guys started with. How many did you say you started with?
Number of hens?
Yes.
We started with 500.
Okay.
And that would have been in 2006. We were just kind of selling our eggs in our little farm store at home in Crescent City, and reached out into the Humboldt County areas where there's a little food movement there with natural food stores in Humboldt County, and then kind of grew into a few more stores, just natural food stores. At that time, we were at about 3,000 eggs a day. And Whole Foods actually gave us a call. They saw our eggs in the Eureka Co-op in Humboldt County.
Hold that for now. I'll ask you a question on that. So I don't want you to bring it up.
Don't expand too much.
Absolutely. But let me ask you a question on this. And again, I just want my listeners to understand the principle and the basics of starting a business. I mean, you guys had the land, of course. You guys had probably the funds to do that. But you chose to just start with 500. Why did you do that? You could have started with 1,000 or 2,000. Why specifically a small amount or a small number to start with?
Yeah, I think 500 could be a lot to some, could be small to many. So we started with just 500 just to test the waters, to see if we could do this, to see how they would do on our grass in our area with our rainfalls. And we have the kind of team at our farm to build coops, and so we were able to build a nice mobile coop, and that worked out well. And so we just kind of were able to do it well with 500 and knew that maybe we should grow. I do want to mention that growth has been a big process at many family evening dinners where some kids are very for it and some are opposed to it just because of the the price of growing and what comes with growth in a business. So it's not something that we are all for growth all along. It's definitely something that we have strategic planning meetings with our family at 6 a.m. on Saturdays, and that's a big subject.
Okay. So let me ask a question on the business of organic. First, probably someone is listening to us or watching that doesn't even know the importance of having organic products on your table. Do you want to expand a little bit on that? Why it is necessary? Why it's important for you to consume Alexander Kate's organic eggs? Because that is what I'm going to be buying and keeping in my fridge henceforth. And listeners, if you're watching, this is some of the packaging of the eggs from the Alexander Kate's farm or the Eco Dairy farm. So if you can get this from your local store and support the Cow Poly dream and the Alexander Kate's dream. So if you want to expand on that, that'll be great.
Yeah, when we're sharing our story, we share what we believe. We're sharing our passions, and what we're sharing is a story, and what comes with the story is what's in that egg. So these egg cartons are empty, but if you opened up this egg carton, you'd see eggs of different sizes. You'd see different colored eggs. They're all a variety of colors of browns. But you see the uniqueness in each package of the egg because it's just not quite a commercialized product, and it's hand picked and nest gathered, really. And we have 6 full-time employees on the business, but what we believe in is these chickens are getting nutrition out of the grass and out of all the stuff that they're picking up in the soil, and they're putting it into the egg. And we really believe that you can see that when you crack open our egg and you see the nutrient-dense, dark, deep yolk and firm white, and that's just right here in the package.
And again, that's an interesting topic that came up because in the poultry industry, there's been an issue on being humane on how the birds are raised and whether they should have pasture or not. So I think you guys are really doing something very, very important that is very, very humane to the birds, and I commend you on that. But again, let me come back on the business again. I spoke with a few industry people recently that says that you cannot necessarily, or you cannot get into the poultry business because it's saturated. And again, that stops people from getting into it, like people who have interested, especially students from Poly who's like, I wish I could have a poultry farm, but I'm told there are big guns in there, you can't compete with them. How did you guys create a niche for yourself where you are now a household name? How did you do that?
Exactly what you said, creating a niche. And I think that in any business, poultry industry, you have the big players, Foster Farms, and that are big industry people that know their product and are doing it well. And so it's hard to compete with them. So what you do is you create a niche and you go to a different market. You're going to a whole new consumer. And so when we started, we kind of knew that our consumer wasn't the consumer that was going to be picking up the typical egg. And that's why these eggs are priced at a much higher price than the average egg. So we're at a niche market, and we're just doing a much different thing than they are, creating an egg like they are, but a different type quality.
So again, you supply to Whole Foods and Costco.
Yeah.
How did that deal come about? How did you break that deal?
So like I was saying earlier, we were in Humboldt County with 3,000 eggs, and Whole Foods called us. And when they called us, it was a call that we didn't even know we wanted. So it was a neat expansion plan, and so we kind of decided to go with Whole Foods, and we're like, absolutely, that's our consumer, and let's grow for Whole Foods. And kind of since then, we're in Northern California Whole Foods, so north of Cupertino, as well as the Pacific Northwest of Washington and Oregon, and in all those Whole Foods. So this kind of grew to an expansion of really 9,000 eggs a day. And this was by 2012, 2013. And last March of 2014, we got a call from Costco, which is also a call that was a godsend that we didn't know. An absolute unexpected call. And I remember we were coming home from spring break, 3 of the siblings, and my parents called and said, hey kids, can you stop by Costco? They want to talk to you guys. They want to talk to us. And we were like, really? Okay. So what we did was we drove over, we went to Whole Foods, we bought our own eggs to go and bring to Costco. And so we walked into the Costco Northern California headquarters and met with Joe, who's their buyer, and Jerry, and we talked to them about potentially being in their stores. And kind of last summer, they had 9 executives come up to our farm, tour, see what we're all about, and really 3 weeks later after that meeting with Joe and Jerry, we were in Costco, and it was really neat. So now we've grown to be in about 20 Costcos in Northern California as well. Yeah.
Let's break down the Costco whole food thing. And again, a research that I made showed clearly that you really have to have a quality product to get into this business, is to have your product on Whole Foods shelves and then to have it in Costco. You, again, being an ag business major, you didn't really do any marketing. So how did the news spread to Costco and Whole Foods that, hey, these are people we have to pay attention to, or this is something we need in our store?
Yeah, our consumers are really a part of the food movement, so they're those foodies, and we are too. When you go into our house, we have all organic products, but they really love the product, and they believe in what we have. So how did we get into Costco? It was one of their buyers just happened to hear about us and see our product in Whole Foods. He had actually been to Hawaii and saw a pastured egg operation up there and kind of was interested in this movement. Costco itself is just kind of moving into the organic consumer because it's a consumer that they never knew they really had. So it was the perfect market, and it'll continue to grow in the future, but it was something that we didn't market to. It was just already there.
So if I understood you correctly, which I think I want my listeners to understand, that when you are producing something that is good, you put your passion and your energy into it, your customers basically do the marketing for you, correct?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Sweet. So let's talk about growth. How has it expanded in the last couple of years? How has your business grown from 500 hens to what number do you have at the moment?
Yeah, we're at 500 hens 2006, continued to grow. We grew for Whole Foods and then grew for Costco. So now we're at about 30,000 hens and growing, which is about 18,000 eggs a day. And what we're going with is kind of, we have this business expansion plan to really triple production in the next 2 years. And so we have the acres, we have the ability to do that. It's just kind of producing and building mobile coops. That's the retaining factor for us. But just just last week, my dad called me and said he was driving to the Fresno area to pick up chicks, and that's just what we're constantly doing, is grabbing chicks and continuing to grow and expand.
So with the number of birds you have now, how do you collect those huge number of eggs? Is it mechanized, or you hand pick the eggs?
Yeah, we're on model 4 really of our coops. So we started with a little mobile coop on 4 wheels that we're dragging around with a tractor in the field, and then we kind of moved to a different style of coop on sleds. And this sled ability, kind of side by side mobile housing that is still moving, is kind of a neat thing for us, where we're picking the eggs up on the side. The nests are just on the side of the building, and the chickens are able to roost at night, and then they're kind of able to roam around to what they feel during the daytime. But we've really seen what works and what doesn't. And my older brothers and kind of dad and construction crew are on building new coops all the time, and our newest invention is just great, and the technology's there. And it's something that we really don't want to share with too many people, so they don't kind of steal that idea.
That is your trade secret.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're there, and we're just, now they're on, and it's really a style that we saw at Cal Poly. And we lived at the upholstery unit for a couple years. Christian did for 2 years, and I did for 1 year. So we just saw the style that they're using to collect eggs there, where it's going onto a belt, and you're just kind of cranking the belt, and all the eggs are coming out in one central location. So that we're doing that, but on pasture. The chickens are still able to roam, but the way we're collecting eggs is mechanized to the ability for employees to just grab those.
Okay, listeners, you're listening to us on radio on KCPR 91.3 FM, San Luis Obispo. And in case you're watching TV, this is CPTV coming to you live. And this is Time with Eric. And I have with me here in the studio Vanessa Alexandre. We will take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
I've come up with a family emergency plan.
Great. What is it?
It's difficult to talk about, so I'm not telling you.
How will we know what to do?
You won't.
I'm so glad I won't have to remember anything.
And me too. Thanks for this, sweetie.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Jimmy can't sing, and Tommy can't dance, so we're gonna put some ants in their pants. Aww.
Kids will spend 22 minutes watching us, the super duper party troopers, sing about ants in their pants.
Isn't that funny? Ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit. Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just please, don't leave. Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Welcome back to CPTV, and in case you're listening to us on radio, this is Time with Eric on 91.3 FM, San Luis Obispo. This morning I'm discussing growing or putting your dream into action and growing your dream into a huge industry. And I have with me in the studio Vanessa Alexandre from the Alexandre Kids, a group of kids that put together a wonderful dream, and today they're doing very successful, and she's sharing some of the ideas on how to get your dreams started. So the next question I have for you, Vanessa, is have you guys ever experienced failure?
Yeah, I think in any business you would answer, or one would answer yes. We've gone through, whether it's in the egg industry or the dairy industry, hardships that do involve failure. And with this industry, it's really been a neat experience with the Alexandre Kids label. We haven't as much, and it's been neat. But I know that when that happens, we'll kind of overcome it. But with the egg business, not quite as much, but with the dairy, absolutely.
Yeah, I ask that question because most often people or young youth coming up tend to give up their dreams because of one or two failures. And I keep emphasizing that failure is the next step to success. And that is the reason why I'm asking. And if you don't mind sharing with me the few failures you've had, and again in the dairy industry, seeing your dad and your mom run a dairy, how have you used that failure to your advantage?
Yeah, we're a very diversified family, and family of farms, really. We have a couple different farms. We've started a few different other enterprises in terms of having a hay ranch or having a trucking business. And we know what works and we know what doesn't for what we're able to run and what we're able to build and be successful. So it's really sticking to what we know. So right now, for example, we're kind of questioning, should we have a hay business? And this is the kind of thing that we use that hay as an input to it, as one of the feed commodities for our cows, but is someone else able to do it better, and should we let them stick to it and let us focus on our strengths, on our core competencies? So that, for example, is one of the questions we're doing now because it's not doing well. It is failing, and that's something that it's either yes or no, and do we get out of it? Do we not?
Okay. And where do you see you guys picking? Like, let's get out of it, or let's still continue and believe it's going to work? Or you being an ag business person, you realize that business-wise, probably this isn't a good thing to do at this time.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that second comment. Business-wise, it's not something for us to do because it's not our core competency. And maybe we should rely on sticking with what we know and let someone else do that one better.
Yeah. So that's a very, very important point. Do what you are very good at doing, do what you are capable of doing, and not something that you have no idea. So for instance, if you believe in again growing your own business or doing a poultry farm, do that instead of running a marathon, correct?
Yeah, I think for us really the egg business and the dairy are in our hometown. So we're always around it, we're able to manage it, we know the business
in and out of it.
But for example, like the hay ranch, that's in Cedarville, which is 7 hours away from our hometown. So management is really hard. And so if it was in our area, maybe we'd know it more. Maybe we'd know it better. And absolutely we would. But since it's not, that's kind of decisions that you have to make as a business owner.
Earlier on my show, I spoke about the mindset and the effect of you probably having a good mindset, thoughts, whatever you wanted to do. And I believe that plays a very huge role in whether you succeed in this life or you don't succeed. Let me come back to, I think I asked you briefly, coming up or growing up in a family that already owned a business, knowing what you know about yourself now, imagine you didn't grow up with a family that had a business. Do you think that would have affected your mindset on, hey, I can do this because I've seen people do it? Would that have affected your mindset?
Yeah, it would have. We grew up in a family with a business, so it was second nature to us, really, of wanting to build our own business or wanting to grow and go back to the farm or do something completely different. So growing up with the family involved in a business, we had that business mindset of kind of helping others, and it's a different mindset on a farm because you're out there every day with the animals, you're out there every day, hands in the soil kind of thing. And so growing up with that, we knew the business mindset, we knew what to do in certain situations, yet we're still so young that we don't know a whole lot. But with that business mindset, for example, at Cal Poly as an agribusiness major has really given me a good go-ahead and given me a lot of knowledge in classes, and kind of in many of my ag business classes, I'm relating it to stuff that I knew back at home and stuff that I've kind of experienced, really, which is neat.
What informed your decision on going into ag business? I mean, it would have been very easy if I were probably in your shoes to say, okay, I want to do dairy science, or I want to do poultry as a course in school. What informed your decision in wanting to do ag business in Cal Poly?
Yeah, I guess I'm a dairy science minor because I love cows and I love dairy farming. But I'm an ag business major because I want to build my own business, or I want to market my own product, and I want that business mindset that comes with running a farm, that comes with owning a dairy. So I wanted that just kind of greater, broader mindset, even though I want to go just back to the dairy farm or own my own dairy, but I guess the broad aspect of business and accounting and marketing and finance, that's what I wanted out of ag business, not just the dairy science part.
And if I push you to the wall, do you think you've gained that attending Cal Poly? Have you gained what you needed? Because sometimes you go to school with expectation that by the time I come out, I want to know this, and that. Have you gained that at the moment? Do you think you would choose Cal Poly again if you should start it all over again?
Oh, I choose Cal Poly in a heartbeat, absolutely. Yeah, my background has given me a lot of knowledge in business, so growing up on the farm and being involved hands-on in the Alexandre kids, for example. But Cal Poly has definitely pushed it as well, and it's really complemented the business background. And really at Cal Poly, it's when I think about Cal Poly, I don't think as much as about the classrooms, but about the relationships I've built with friends and with people, and I think that's really what I've gathered more. It's not really learning about what I want to do, but who I want to become, and that's what absolutely.
And you're totally right on that. I don't know, I have a very good relationship with all the professors from Dr. Nolan to Debbie and Dr. Peterson. You realize that the teachers here are people who want your success. So everything they need to do, everything that is possible to get a student where they have to get to, they do. So that I'll give it to Cal Poly. But there's a quote I read somewhere on your page that says that hard work becomes easy when your work becomes your play. What do you mean by this?
Yeah, hard work becomes easy when your work becomes your play.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's just going to show that anything hard work, for example, becomes easy when you love it.
Okay.
When you're excited about it, when it becomes your play.
Okay.
And that's what it is for me. I love it, and I don't think of it as hard work. It's just second nature. It's something I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So for the sake of my listeners, and again, I've said this time and time and again on my show Time with Eric, that first thing you have to identify as a person is something that you love to do, something that even if nobody's paying you, you still want to do it over and over again. That's a good thing to bring up. Did you imagine at any point growing up that you'll be in this position where you and your brothers run your own business? Did you imagine that?
Not at this age.
Okay.
I definitely imagined it running a business with my family, in the future, but I didn't think of that as an 18-year-old freshman at Cal Poly that I'd be a part of an LLC that's growing and doing well. So not at this young, but it definitely was a part of my dream, absolutely.
So at this young age, managing a huge business that supplies eggs all over to Costco and wholesale and Whole Foods, do you think the success you've found, has it changed your personality? Has it changed who you are as a person? Has it changed any part of your family's personality that, okay, we let me use the word rich, we are good now. I mean, we can get whatever we want. Has that changed anything about you?
No, it's definitely not. And I wouldn't say we are rich in any means. We're rich in family, but we're not rich with money kind of thing. It's the... there's different part of the businesses that do well, and there's different parts that aren't. We went through some hardships with the dairy and a few years back, but it's something that the egg business was really a godsend for us. So it's something that, is doing really well and has been neat to see grow. But we also have things that are holding us back, and it's always going to be like that. And so I wouldn't even go to say that we are. But it's been neat to be a part of it. It definitely has changed the way we think in different parts of owning a business, but not as a human being whatsoever.
Great. Because I ask that because people tend to change when success comes their way. They try to be different people that they weren't at the beginning of the business. That's why I'm asking that. But at this time, if you could tell me a little bit about the sizes of the crates we have here. What size is this and that? And
a little bit about these. Yeah. This was our first egg carton. This is our 12-pack.
Okay.
And that was the first one.
You can raise it so that the customers can, our listeners.
Yeah, so this is our 12-pack we started with in our farm store, and this label has grown throughout the years. This is one that you'll see in Whole Foods and Costco's right now. And then this was our second egg carton, which is a 6-pack, and this was grown just for Whole Foods. They kind of went to us we went to them as an investment partner, and so we kind of had a contract to use this for a year in primarily Whole Foods, and then has since grown to other stores as well. And then this is a brand new carton that isn't on shelves yet, but this is our 18-pack, and this will just be for Costco's. So this is a new carton. When you look at our carton, it's kind of bright and vibrant, and this carton has a little story about us on the front. It has the chicken coops. It has kind of the cows in the background.
Okay, so that is basically the farm, right? I can see some chicken and some coops.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what you see when you go to our farm, all the grass, all the trees, all the cows. And then when you open up, We have our family picture.
That's a beautiful picture.
Thank you. So this is new for us to put the family picture inside the carton, and this was actually an idea from the Costco vice president.
Oh, wow.
So if he gave us that idea, it must have been great.
Absolutely.
So he gave us the idea to put our picture on because people want a face to the family. And when you read these little kind of insert in here, it kind of just shares our story in a nutshell. And then you have the nutrition facts and find us on Facebook and a little Jesus fish right here too.
So for listeners listening to us and those watching us on CP TV, do we have any of those products around Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo area for our listeners who want to buy some of those products?
You know, we don't actually have it this far south yet. We really want to grow, especially in the Cal Poly area, because this is a second home for our family, really. In the future, we want to, with either Whole Foods or Costco, we'll grow south, but not to this point yet, just because we aren't at that capacity with the supply.
Okay. And again, on supply, for now, how do you guys structure your business so you're able to meet demand? Because another thing that is important in having a good relationship with outlets that carry your product is your ability to supply what they request from you or what they need you to supply. How are you guys coping with that?
Yeah, when we started the business and just being in Whole Foods to begin with, we weren't meeting demand by threefold. So they would order 3 times what we could supply them. And now we're bridging that gap because we're growing, but it's something that we've not been able to do because we really, in this sense, are the price maker, and they really want our product, so they're able to kind of grow with us and slow with us. So Costco is large by every means, but they're kind of slowly ordering what we can give them, and that's what they'll give them. If we could give them everything, they would, but we have contracts with other people.
We have 2 minutes more to be done with this program. Let me ask you, what would be your advice for students in the Department of Agriculture? Any student that is listening to us, on maybe they may have the dream of wanting to do their own business or something like that. What would be your advice to people who are listening to us like that?
For us, it was really about building relationships, and it's about building relationships with people who want to see you succeed. And that's kind of how we've gone about every part of the business, is building those relationships and sharing your story and having those people believe in you is what we need to move to the next level. And so it's not the thing about networking and just getting everybody's business cards so you'll have them as a contact, but it's about knowing everybody and becoming their friend and really just growing with them. So it's about building relationships for us, absolutely.
And this question is a question that all my guests have to answer. So you wouldn't sweat it. Are you currently in a relationship? Are you single? What is your status?
I'm currently single.
You're currently single?
I am.
Okay. So listeners, you're listening to Vanessa Alexandre from the Alexandre Cakes and Eco Dairy Farm, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, from Crescent City. And she's been sharing with us all this while on how they started their business and how they went through to become what they are today. If you're listening to us on KCPR, I will be back here again on Sunday, next week Sunday at the same time from 9 to 10 a.m. with Time with Eric. You can give me a call if you want, and then we will discuss issues that are very important in finding your success. So let me ask you, what is the most important thing to you as a person?
Yeah, to me, it all stems back to our foundation of having that biblical, religious foundation, and that kind of really drives all my decisions. And our parents kind of instilled in us that aspect, and it drives every decision that we make. So,
and
absolutely.
If we should turn back the hand of time, would you still do what you're doing again?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Good.
I love it.
Thank you very much, Vanessa.
Thanks
for coming. You just listened to us on KCPR 91.3 FM San Luis Obispo. This is Time with Eric. And if you're watching us on TV, this is CP TV. Thank you very much for tuning in. And I believe strongly that you got some ideas that will help you in growing your business. Believe in yourself and always know that it is possible. I'll be right here again on Cal Poly's KCPR 91.3 FM San Luis Obispo next week Sunday. Have a blessed day.